Hello, welcome to the Ticket to Qatar in this history-breaking event, history-making event. The first World Cup in the Gulf region, the first World Cup in a Muslim country, and of course, history for Australia as well. The first two victories in a group stage to put us into the round of 16 against Argentina, the world number 3. It's all happening here, as you can see. We're going to try and get through the program without too many interruptions. We're going to hear Sam Lewis's analysis shortly. We're going to hear from Eleni Soltis on whether Qatar can be considered a football nation, especially after this. And we'll hear from Tim Cahill, who may just be Australia's secret weapon here in Qatar 2022. But first, let's catch the news.
It's been a tournament of surprises. From the smooth running of the event and the fans who seem to support everyone. The Socceroos have shocked a few too. When Matthew Leckie scored his sensational goal against Denmark to put Australia into the final 16, he started a new chapter in Socceroo history. Their challenge now is the world's third highest ranked team, Argentina, captained by one of the greatest players of all time, Lionel Messi. Will Messi finally be able to deliver a World Cup to his country? Or will Argentina follow in the footsteps of other giants like Belgium and Germany who failed to progress and have already packed their bags and are heading home?
The news has been very much all about Australia here, getting into that round of 16 for the first time for many, many years. And Tim Cahill seems to be a bit of a secret weapon, someone lurking in the background, but if it wasn't for him organising the extraordinary facilities where the Australians are staying, where they can get absolute world best recovery, then maybe Australia wouldn't already be where we are, and with the potential to go further. This is what Tim Cahill said after the win against Denmark the other day.
So we've just been in Denmark, 1-0, well-deserved win. Gone through the group stages, which is incredible, but also something that I feel we deserved. The way the teams played in the last 3 games, the togetherness, the discipline, the efficiency, training, everything. But big congratulations to Graham Arnold, his staff, everyone involved, and the most important thing is the players. The players for being selfless, for working hard, for believing. And within a squad, it takes many players, the players that are not here, that have been a part of the journey to qualify, and all the players that have played a little role, whether it's in training or even sitting on the bench. So they've created history, and it's time to create some more history. So to reflect now, to be on the pitch, to be a part of this is something I feel privileged as an ex-footballer and someone who's a very proud Australian. It's deserved, and this new generation deserve all the accolades and support from Australia and around the world, but pretty incredible times at the minute.
Of course, Australia isn't the only country celebrating here. You can probably see the odd Moroccan flag behind me. They're also celebrating because this is the first time they've made the round of 16 since 1986. Let's have a listen to some of their fans to see how important it is for their country.
We're very proud and very happy, and the atmosphere here is very amazing, and we're just having fun. It has been a very good journey until now, and we're looking forward to the next round. Probably it'll be Germany, and we're ready.
Yeah. And how will you go with against Germany?
We are the champion. We are the champion. We are the champion. Hey, allez Maroc!
Just explain one more thing to me. What does this mean to all of Morocco? Because it seems there are so many Moroccans here in Qatar for this World Cup.
Yeah, it means a lot. It means a lot. As you see, there is a lot of Moroccans coming from all over the world, like from different parts of the world, from Morocco, from Europe. Moroccans living in Qatar. It means a lot for us. It's just making everyone happy, and that's what we want. We want to see everyone happy, and the squad made us very happy and proud today.
Now, many have asked the question about this World Cup, whether Qatar is actually a football nation. We've heard some stories over the past couple of weeks about people who'd played in the national team back in the 70s. They do actually have a culture of football, but not recognised internationally. But maybe that is about to change after the hosting of this world party in Qatar 2022. Here's Eleni Soltis.
The winner to organize the 2022 FIFA World Cup is Qatar.
In this jubilant history-making moment for Qatar, you just have to look around the room at all the faces to know the Qatari delegation had a massive task ahead of it, fighting off the critics. Since that day in December 2010, Qatar has been unable to shake off unresolved allegations it bribed FIFA officials to vote for their bid. Qatar's football credentials have also been slammed, with critics asking why should a tiny Gulf nation that's never qualified for a World Cup be able to host the most watched sporting event in the world? On that point, you could argue Qatar is not a football nation. But the chicken and egg analogy kind of applies here. By winning the rights to host a World Cup and automatically qualifying for the tournament, has Qatar become a football nation? To answer that, you have to look at what's been unfolding even before Qatar's bid.
Aspire Academy arose from a sandy terrain.
It's a sports institution and zone within Doha, and it's producing results.
We prepare our student athletes to become highly educated citizens and top-performing sportsmen.
For the first time in its history, Qatar has won the Asian Football Confederation Under-19 Championship in Myanmar. All the players were current students or graduates of Aspire. But it was this moment in 2019 that really put Aspire on the map. 9 Aspire graduates played in that historic match, and suddenly the football world started to take the Maroons seriously. Sorry, Queensland, you're not the only ones. Some critics have argued they're only doing well because they have naturalised foreign players. Of the 26 players in the World Cup squad, 16 were born in Qatar and 10 were born elsewhere. When you look at the first time the Socceroos played in a World Cup almost 50 years ago, more than half of the team was born overseas. It's called migration, and 90% of Qatar's population are migrants. Yes, some countries naturalise players for the sole purpose of acquiring their skills, but a lot of rich nations do that. In preparation for the World Cup, one of Qatar's key strategies has been team building. And that takes time. The players have been staying together in a training camp for 6 months. It's unusual, but it's been done before. 20 years ago, World Cup co-host South Korea spent 5 months in camp. The next thing you know, they've made it to the semi-finals to only be beaten by football powerhouse Germany. Despite these efforts, Qatar became the first host nation to lose an opening match in the World Cup, losing 2-0 to Ecuador. And it was all downhill from there. So, is Qatar a football nation? I think we should also apply what I like to call the Johnny Warren test. The late Australian football great wrote a book called Sheilas, Wogs and Poofters. He observed that before the round ball was more broadly accepted by Australians, a player was often called one of these 3 things. And that's just it. This sport has a rich history of accepting minority groups and those pushed to the fringes of society. The football family is diverse, and this is where Qatar is lagging. Homosexuality is illegal in Qatar, and even though Qatar says all fans are welcome without discrimination, what will happen once the World Cup is over? As for women in football, football great David Beckham is optimistic Qatar is heading in the right direction.
I was with some girls yesterday. I think it's important that there seems to be some kind of movement here with the women's game, and that's great to see.
Yeah, he would say that. He's a paid ambassador, reportedly in the tens of millions of dollars. In order to place a bid for the World Cup, an official women's team had to be established. Qatar pulled a team together, but it currently doesn't have a FIFA ranking, and they've only been playing friendlies in recent years. As for the local women's football league, its first season was 2 years ago. So with the Johnny Warren test, maybe Qatar isn't a football nation just yet. But there was a very special moment in Qatar's bid that perhaps we should all think about. Iraqi-born medical student Mohammed Naufal Al-Tamimi told FIFA officials what it means for the World Cup to come to the Middle East, a region riddled with conflict. He also spoke of the moment Iraq won the Asian Cup in 2007.
It was the first time I remember that our country was together as one. All of this happened because of football. What politicians, governments failed to achieve, football achieved.
That is the power of the world game. For a moment, we can all put aside our differences. So, is Qatar a football nation? And who decides?
Time now to talk tactics, as we do all the time, with Sam Lewis. Sam, the action's going on. It's really great to be able to bring some of this energy to all the people watching Ticket to Qatar. But let's talk about Australia first, because this is history. We've made history again.
Yeah.
How far can we go?
Look, I am filled with Arnie belief. I feel like if we can play the kind of energetic, dedicated, organised, really just belief-filled football against Argentina of all nations, we can probably go pretty far. We've got the players who are capable of playing the kind of pragmatic football that's needed at a World Cup tournament, particularly with such a tight turnaround. You can't really display the kind of flamboyant together kind of football that you usually get at club level. So the Socceroos seem to have really found that balance, and let's just see how far they go.
Now, we know that there's still a host of matches to be played before we determine who is going to be in the final 16, but some of the big names have already gone. You know, Germany's gone, Belgium's gone. Are we seeing the collapse of the EU? I don't want to give you a headline, and don't misinterpret it or take it out of context, but at least in football terms.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope that this is an inflection point for the rest of the world when it comes to football. As we're seeing behind us, the Middle East has a huge football culture. Football is skyrocketing across Asia generally as well. Australia and Japan have just qualified for the round of 16, and we could likely see at least one or two others potentially get through as well. This is a really important moment for the rest of the world when it comes to this game. It's called the World Game for a reason. So the fact that we're seeing a number of big European nations who have dominated the game for such a long time crash out quite early is really exciting. It suggests that the order of this game is starting to shift, and that's exactly what's needed in order to keep it vibrant and keep it alive.
The other thing that I find really fascinating is just how popular a little iPhone can be here in the souk in Qatar, because people just want to be on the show. Come in, everybody, come in. Say hello to Australia.
Come in.
Say hello, Australia. Hello, Australia. Hello.
Hello.
Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. Yalla haykum.
Hello, I am from Sri Lanka, came to Qatar.
Okay, very good. Yeah, it is a wonderful atmosphere here for the very first World Cup in this particular region. And I guess we'll be back with more on Ticket to Qatar whenever we can bring it to you. We'll see you then. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you. I'm a big fan of the Australian cricket team.